Check. High-vis jacket? Check. The Real Economy team is set to take you on a journey of discovery of how our waste can become sustainable gold, powering the circular economy of tomorrow. We're going to show you how industry is changing the way it produces to fit a circular economy model that the city of Amsterdam is becoming a standard bearer for. Then join us for a chat about what more Europe can do with David Palmer-Jones. He is the CEO of SOAS UK, whose material recycling plant we're in right now. This way of life is way more than simply recycling. So first up, here's our crash course on how the circular economy is different from the way we produce, consume and live today.
In today's linear economy, we dig, make, use, dispose. We waste 90% of raw materials used to make, say, a washing machine before it even leaves the factory. Big companies resell half that waste, but SMEs don't. The rest ends up in landfill, along with 80% of all the goods we make within the first 6 months of their life. Moving to a circular economy means changing the way we design, produce and use that washing machine. Imagine products designed to keep remanufacturing, refurbishing and recycling in mind. That means wasting nothing, where every man-made material, metal or biodegradable part is upcycled. By using only renewable energy, we wouldn't have to hurt the environment for hard-to-find, finite and expensive resources. A move to a circular economy would save Europe's businesses €600 billion and reduce our greenhouse gases too.
Europe's circular economy package packs a punch money-wise. Between Horizon 2020, the structural funds, the cohesion funds, they're pumping in billions into resource efficiency, research and innovation, low carbon, SMEs. Action-wise, they're trying to change laws across Europe about waste, set targets for recycling and landfills, and get producers to start reusing their own material. Now, companies in the circular economy can save massive amounts in their material budget. They can cut their energy costs by millions and reduce carbon emissions by a bucket load. So Guillaume Desjardins set out to explore how the early adopters are doing just that.
Recycling used goods after they die so they don't end up in landfill is already on most minds. But what if they didn't have to die? The European Commission is working on a plan to promote circular economy principles such as eco-conception, extended warranty and fighting against planned obsolescence in the private sector. But some companies have already gotten on board with the circular economy principles. Let's take a look at one of them. This factory, located in France, has been producing car engines and auto parts since 1949, but with a special touch. When they get here, auto parts are sorted between the ones that are in too bad a state, which will be re-smelted, and the other ones which will be repaired. In the end, once they leave the factory, they're as good as new. This allowed the factory to become 100% waste-free, which has not been easy to achieve. It's been thought of and planned since the early design stages of production and carried on throughout the car's entire life. From Cradle to Cradle again.
The circular economy starts from conception. We've been rethinking the conception of our mechanical parts to facilitate disassembling and recycling them in order to maximize the salvaging process.
All of this obviously has a cost, but if big groups have entered the battle, it must mean the project is profitable. Indeed, consumers are demanding eco-friendly products. More than 80% say it's a criteria when deciding on a purchase. But that's not all. Last year, this saved the company 80% on energy and 88% on water, as well as 4,000 tons of metal.
When a company gets involved in the circular economy, it will increase its profitability for at least two reasons. First, it will save on raw material costs, as well as waste management costs at the end of the production. But also because eco-conceived products sell better. It becomes a marketing argument for the company to sell.
Beyond this, in order to be profitable in the long term for companies, an organised market for waste and upcycled material will have to be created.
So what more does Europe need to do? Joining us now is David Palmer-Jones. He is the president of the European Federation of Waste Management and Environmental Services, FIAD, and also the CEO of Suez UK. How do you get industry on board with the circular economy, especially SMEs?
There's two types of industry, really. There's ones who get it. Already those large industries are making those changes, planning for the future. But there's another group that aren't doing that live in the past. You've got to have a catalyst, you've got to have somebody's got to start, and that's why policy is so really important in my opinion. If you can't quite see that economic just today, because look at commodity prices, they're still quite low on occasion, but we know inevitably we can't continue because we've got a finite resource of this world. At some stage that equation's going to stop.
How do you move it beyond recycling? How do you make this a phenomena that we just feel natural about?
Today there's 800 million tonnes going to landfill, which we bury material and energy in the ground. What we've got to do first is get the facilities, the infrastructure on the ground locally, serving the population, serving industry, to extract that material. Eco-design, the way we design things, has a massive impact on the sustainability of products going forward. 80% of the DNA, or the footprint, the environmental footprint, is there. Polluter pays, extended producer responsibility they would call it, but it's all about paying for the damage environmentally that you do. We've seen lots of new policy coming from Europe now, which really tries to push that back to those industries, and they'll have a wake-up call, won't they? Because if it costs them money, goodness me, they'll be designing away future cost in their processes.
Do you think we go far enough with this European circular economy package?
It's a good start. They're really trying to push that material, that 800 million tonnes going to landfill, out towards recycling, towards energy and to future circularity. What you need to do is make sure when you push out those materials, those really valuable materials, let's find a market for them. We need to make sure there is an active market, a viable market. And at the moment, commodity prices are moving, they fluctuate a lot, oil prices are down, and so sometimes the economics don't stack up short term. But if we go back to the long-term vision, which is developing those demand-side measures, so we really are attracting those materials into the marketplace to make that circular loop start to happen.
580,000 jobs, that's what can be created in Europe if we do this right, and save up to 500 euros per household per year in energy costs. So it's no wonder that cities like Amsterdam are really heading straight into the circular economy, as Monica Pinner reports.
The circular economy is central to the sustainability goal of the Netherlands, potentially generating €7 billion a year and creating 54,000 jobs. Amsterdam is the country's shop window for why it works, according to the city's vice mayor.
As cities are growing, the push that they can organize to stimulate the innovation and stimulate the transition from linear to circular can be very high. If there is no economic impact, the change that you are trying to achieve from linear to circular thinking will not happen, or will not happen as fast as you want to.
So, how is Amsterdam going circular? We took a tour to find out.
By making the Amsterdam construction sector circular, the municipality expects to create a value of €85 million per year and 3% growth in productivity by 2040.
This is an example of construction circularity, with growth largely coming from material reuse and efficiency improvements. Nothing can be wasted at Park 2020. Each building has parts that can be readapted for future use.
And the challenge is to build in such a manner that you can easily reuse components. The current linear system is very much sub-optimized by every player in the supply chain, and with the circular economy you're looking for a total optimization.
Amsterdam's waste is now a source of income and energy. Every year, each city resident throws away around 370 kilograms of waste. 27% is separated and goes through the AEB incineration complex. Precious ashes are left behind.
What we see here is the bottom ash, with still a lot of valuable metals and other materials in that. You can filter that out to have it reused.
What happens next closes the economic circle.
Annually, we have 300,000 tons of bottom ash left over from the factory. About 10% of that is recycled as metals. The remaining 90% is minerals to make tiles that are being used to make streets, pavements, etc.
Amsterdam aims to recycle 30% of municipal waste by 2016 and 65% in 2020. The overall EU target is 65% by 2030. The EU also now has a target to bring landfill use down to 10% of waste by 2030, but there's been nothing going into landfill in the Netherlands since 2010.
Still with us is David Palmer-Jones. When you look at cities like Amsterdam and this talk about job creation, how realistic is it?
Oh, it's extremely realistic. You know, all that material that we've got to play with, it tends to, because we do more and more urban living, don't we? So it tends to come towards the population basis. So what you need to get real circularity is a bit of scale. So they've got scale, the likes of Amsterdam, that's a big population. So they have the ability to demonstrate, like a shop window to the world, really. I think that's what we've got to do. Demonstrate the point that this new form of living works. Industrial symbiosis is a big word. It just means somebody's waste is another man's raw material. And that's what they've got to start to do, pairing up the materials that go round a city and pushing them back into the industries to start closing that loop and create the sort of jobs that you talk about.
Looking at it from a business perspective, in terms of measures and implementations, what would your recommendations be?
Here and now, help us through this first period, create those conditions for the market to allow us to play, and then for me it's all about designing away waste. The world continues to grow in population. We need to find the answers. That will come, in my opinion, through innovation and technology.
David, on that note, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.